Hey traders, this is my morning video. I'm doing it the night before here. So anything can happen in the overnight session. We'll see what happens. Maybe everything's up by the time I get up in the morning. I just want to get it done tonight. So basically we are in a double topping situation on the VX futures. Potentially breakout above the 200-day moving average. Very risky scenario here. We had the bonds at year lows. 10-year bonds, TLT, right at 10 at year lows. Threatening a breakdown. I have said that it did not seem like an exhaustion gap down on bonds, so I thought yields were going to go higher, and it seems like we were right at setting up for year highs. We have actually put, I don't know about today, but yesterday we actually put um, 17-year highs for the 2-year treasuries. So, and this reaction right here in the bond market is we had a 20-year bond auction yesterday, and it was fairly good. It was a fairly good auction. We're still here. Look at this. Triple bottom here on the bonds. So yeah, with a fairly good auction. So things that I'm looking at right here on the markets, real quick here, we're below the 200-day moving average on the 2-hour time frame. This was supposed to be the buy zone, and we just couldn't even overnight. We could not even get back into the buy zone on the S&Ps. That was right at Friday's close. So we're rejecting away from that. We're rejecting away from the 200 initially tonight. So some things took out. It's not the end of the world because we haven't taken out last week's lows yet. Taking out last week's lows before the week's out, that would be really bad, really bad. So some things takeaways I'm looking at. You see this fairly decent potential drop here on the ES futures. I'm looking at that fairly decent drop scenario, and the volatility at recent highs. It's suggesting to me we might be getting a breakout in volatility early on tomorrow morning, and that's just going to really get things going, in my opinion, if that happens. This red line right here, this is a major long-term trend line that we're coming right back into. We've looked below it before, and they saved it. Losing that trend line is, at this point, that would probably help validate that this could very well have been a bear market rally top. And as I said in my prior video, we were right into that 50% retracement on the swing high and the on the swing high. That's 50% retracement on the swing high. You have to zoom down right up here. That's 50% retracement versus the all-time high. So that area got rejected. That is textbook bear market rally rejection area. So definitely keep that in mind here. Same thing on the NASDAQ. NASDAQ got a little bit higher. We overshot both those areas a little bit. Immediately got sold back into. And, just heads up on that. Both those red lines are the 50% retracements, all-time high, and the swing high. And we rejected both those areas. So definitely keep that in the back of your mind going forward here. Okay. Another thing I want to point out here, the magenta, blue-green lines right here. This is technically our consolidation zone. That was what we were using to signify the bull-bear cross in the markets. So we are currently trading below that. And we pretty much spent most of the day yesterday on the NASDAQ below that. So it just started fading. It started fading in a big way away from the magenta lines. And so losing that area puts the markets in price discovery to the downside. Okay, it puts the bears technically in control. So you move into the magenta area, there's still hope for the bulls. Okay, and like I said, we haven't taken out the weekly lows yet. So anything can change by tomorrow morning. But yeah, definitely some things to worry about here going forward. Some things I'm looking at right here. The markets are going down and stuff. So we had a sell side action going on here in Tesla. And a theme that I am putting out there for people to think about is a rotation back to fair value in some of these monsters of tech, mega tech, in the geopolitical climate we got currently going on. So my main takeaway before the numbers even came out from Tesla, I was talking about 235 area as a potential target area. So this is the VWAP. This is the anchored VWAP from all-time highs to the current day. It's right around 235, and that's kind of where we're at, hanging out right here on Tesla. So the theory that I've got that, the froth is probably going to come off the table in Megatech because of all of the climate we're currently in. Tesla's telling me that just very well might be coming to fruition here. Okay, real quick, like I was going to show you. You see the indices are down, but initially when NVIDIA was reporting, the indices were up on, or not NVIDIA, Netflix. The problem that we got going on here, Tesla was by far the most important stock to announce this week and tonight. And the main reason is their heavy weighting in both the Qs and the SPY and the XLY. So they have a massive, massive impact on some of the most important areas in the ETF sectors in the market. So be very mindful of that. That's why Tesla's taking the entire market down with this little sell-off in the after hours. Now Netflix, on the other hand, way up tonight. So why is the market's not up? Well, if you bring Netflix up, it's the ETF channel. It's a free service off of on the internet. Let me pull this up real quick. 1 second here, guys. And if you go over here and look at the weighting of these right here real quick on Netflix, it has a very low correlative weighting to the major indices and the major ETFs in the market. Yeah, it's important. XLC is really one of the one, and even it really didn't have that big of an impact even on XLC. It's only a 1.5 holding in XLC. So that's really one of the few major ETFs that it's currently in. Okay, you got SPY. It's only a 0.43 holding, and that's why this thing does not have a very big weighting on the broader markets. So here you have this big rally, and it's but in the bigger context of things, if you go here out on the, where's the daily at? There you go. In the bigger context, all we did was a relief rally, in my opinion. Okay, so in the bigger context, you see where we're at. We got a gap up here. We got a gap down there. We had a relief rally. In the bigger context, it's just a relief rally. And if you really think about it here, if I put the market webs on here, and if you just look back here in time, we're only, we had the big rally. Let me go over here on the 4 hour. Sorry. If I can find it. 30 minutes. 4 hour, there it is. There it is. And you see what we're going on here? This is the weekly. This was last week's trading range here on just last week. We were trading at this level. So we're kindly slightly above last week's high. So we're only, this massive move, it was just basically a short squeeze based off of only 2 weeks of value. So, it just, it's not a fundamental, I know it seems like a big move, but in the bigger context, it really isn't. We came right off the buy zone. We didn't even run back into the sell zone yet. It just, everything about it. And you see how many weeks? So we haven't even taken out, 4 week. Yeah, we're right here at 4 weeks. So 5 weeks back. So, we might be going into the 5 week range, going into tomorrow's trading. So, you just don't want to be putting hold too much faith, that this thing here is going to hold up the markets, because it's really not meant to do that, because it's not weighted in enough ETFs, or important ETFs in the broader markets. Okay. And other than that, oh yeah, I gotta bring it back up, don't I? Other charts I can bring up real quick. I do want to point out Apple. Apple, same thing. You see these magenta greens? we closed outside of that. So we're technically in a price discovery to the downside on Apple. Okay. So be very mindful of that. We could be coming right back down to last week's lows on Apple. So we have to be very mindful. We'd be coming crashing down in tomorrow's session. And our first target's way down here at these lows. Okay. So we definitely got to keep that in the back of our minds going forward here. We already got NVIDIA. It's already broken down. We're breaking down. This is a strong price discovery to the downside. It's obvious, your support's way down here, 400 $400 range. We're still 21 points away from that. High likelihood that we're going to go down to that. Very high likelihood NVIDIA is going down all the way to that. AMD's broken. AMD, we're in price discovery to the downside going. So all these are going to probably be down. In all likelihood, barring some sort of news, these will all be down tomorrow morning unless something happens because they're in price discovery to the downside. So overnight they're going to see what happened in Asia and Europe and all the other countries that nobody's going to be wanting to buy these up. That's something that they have to prove themselves that they're going to reverse. Some of the ones that are still holding out fairly well is Microsoft. As I mentioned in the last video, this here is a very high volume area. It is, we couldn't get back over the top. It's a high probability rejection zone that I mentioned that I thought we were going to be coming back down into this area. So far, it's playing out. Microsoft. What other ones do we want to talk about here? Google. Google. This is in such. It's really hard for me to draw. This thing's holding up pretty well right now. We'll see what happens here. So, if it breaks out, this Google to me looks like the odds are it's still wanting to finish its pattern. So this is the bullish case, okay? Google to me looks to me like the upside pattern hasn't completed, but if the entire market implodes, well, you see what happens. And then Amazon. And Amazon's another one. Remember, XLY is heavily weighted Tesla. So, there's a really good chance we're going to gap down on Amazon tomorrow because the XLY is going to likely trigger a sell side action right out of the gate tomorrow. So, unless something changes here, those correlations, you have to be mindful of that. Even Amazon might be breaking down from the. So this is the area they were trying to decide whether bullish or bearish, so the bias here, you have to be very mindful of that. Okay. So please like my video if you like it. Leave comments below. I'll have a Discord link below if you guys want to join my Discord. And if you guys have ideas that I didn't share with you, I'd love to hear from them. Okay. Thanks a lot.